There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Hi.
How are you, Jordan?
Doing good. How are you?
I got a bit of a sort of infection on the throat, so I'm sounding
Oh,
like Barry White now.
oh, okay. I hope it doesn't hurt too much to talk.
No, I think I need to talk more for it to get better. I don't know, but anyway, thank you very much for your time. Hope you're keeping well. And
Yeah. Thank you.
you got your permission to fly yet? Or are you waiting for September?
I already have permission. Yeah. I'm giving permission to everyone else now.
And
Yeah.
when did you start working on the songs for Permission to Fly? Because, in October last year, you got the announcement. And so with Mike joining Dream Theater or rejoining Dream Theater in this case, so you knew the next couple of years were going to be a bit busy, but were those songs already taken care of for these records?
Yeah, well, I saw this window of opportunity, right, in the few months before Dream Theater started up working, and I thought, okay, this is me. I've got to get in there and do that. That was what, like about a year ago. I started to put all this together, and I had a collection of small ideas that I captured on my iPhone, just little videos of me playing some nice things. And so when I decided, okay, I think I found a window of opportunity, I went back to those ideas. And I went back there with my daughter, Ari, who wrote the words for the album. And we kind of looked at them together and we decided, okay, this is good. This is really good. And that's how it kind of got off the ground.
Yeah. And for this record, you decided to have like a team of musicians to work with you. Was that from the get-go?
One of the first things that had to happen is I had to organize my brain about what this album was going to be really like. So it was conversations with the record company. First of all, figuring out how it was going to be put out. Am I putting it out independently? Am I going through a label? If I do it through a label, what would they like? What do they expect? What do they advise? So collecting information, figuring out how I wanted to proceed, those were all things to get the wheels in motion and start to put this together. Along the way, it seemed to make sense to me from a creative point of view and also from a business point of view, once I decided to go with Inside Out, that it would be kind of more like a band idea. I wanted to make an album that was a mixture of the kind of Jordan, wildly progressive stuff that people also know me for, but I also wanted to have the side of me that just loves melodic, comfortable, nice sounding music. So I didn't want it all to be mind blowing. I wanted some of it to just be more in maybe a soothing, musical way as well. So once I had all those ideas set, then I set out to find like a singer, right? A little difficult to find a singer in these days with the musical environment as it is, because most guys are sounding like Cookie Monster. Or, there's not a lot of guys who really just want to sing with a beautiful sound. But thanks to Roy from Prague Report, he mentioned Joe Payne to me, and then I did some research and listened to him sing, and we spoke, and one step led to another, and finally we decided that he would be the singer on the album, which I was very happy about, and extremely happy now that it's all done. And then assembling the rest of the band, which consists of like Darby Todd, who is the drummer, right? Who I met when I was out on tour with Dream Theater and the Dream Sonic tour.
Yeah.
Um, he was perfect because, even though I was determined to have some of the music be a little bit easier, still there's the element of complication that's involved in my progressive side. So I needed a drummer who was very powerful and capable, but also very brave to be able to play all my different rhythms and everything that I could throw at them. So Darby basically said to me, and I remember he says, they hire me to do the hard stuff. So he was ready for anything. He was the perfect candidate to do the drumming, and he did a great job. And then Steve Dadayan, who's my friend, uh, electric and acoustic guitarists did a lot of the guitar work on the album, most of the rhythm guitar work. And then I had a couple of guest solos from this young Chilean guitarist whose name is Bastian Martinez, who's just an amazing talent. Add a few guitar solos by myself and some lyrics by my daughter, and you've got the album. That's how it came together.
And, for a musician like you know a lot of people. You probably could have gone to the best of the best to make whatever you wanted. But for me, listening to Permission to Fly seems to be an album not about virtuosity in the sense, but about songs. And
Oh,
listening to it, what I gather, and especially from Joe Payne's voice, I got a very Yes vibe on some of the tracks because Joe has a sensible voice that we know from Yes that it seems that's going to crack, but he holds the note. And
yeah. Right, right. I know what you mean.
and it's
Oh,
just
no real transition between his falsetto sound and his main sound. It's very connected. Yeah,
and
that's cool.
listen to it, I got very Yes vibes to some of the songs on this record, and I don't know if it's an influence or if it's something that you thought about, but it gave me that song vibes that Yes is known for as well.
That's cool. No, I like hearing that because, as I mentioned, my original intent was to not only have the crazy prog stuff with multiple meters and all that stuff, but also there's just some really beautiful things that you could absorb a little bit more easily that make you feel good. And yeah, and the fact that you're mentioning the Yes, I mean, come on. I mean, Yes, Genesis, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and like in Palmer, huge influences in my musical path. And so I tip my musical hat to them, kind of proudly and enjoy having those things be part of my musical soup, this fusion that's in my mind of all the things that I love, classical music, certainly, which is where I come from, and then those important progressive rock elements and all the electronic music that I like. And, I've always been very kind of natural at taking in styles, not even deliberately, but just I hear something, I like it, and it just kind of enters my mind, and I go figure out maybe what the chords or what the rhythms are, and it becomes part of who I am. And then when I speak my musical language, it kind of comes out with all those things. I've never been like a jazz player or a fusion player, anything like that specific. I'm just kind of who I am, and I offer this blend of styles, and that's luckily, I guess, kind of natural for me to have that output.
Yeah, because I think would be, I wouldn't say easier, but if you want to do like an instrumental shredding kind of a record, you could have done it easily, I would say.
That could be
But
a thing, but I didn't want to. But I listen to music. I like listening to music that is somewhat soothing and spacey and nice. I don't want to be attacked with all the craziness personally from my own listening. I'll put on something really mellow. I'll listen to some Pink Floyd music or Sigur Rós or Boards of Canada, or I don't know, like things that are calm, or
yeah,
Michael Hedges playing the guitar. So there's that side of who I am, as a musician. And also, part of me is the musical part that just likes going over to the piano and playing very ripply kind of, musical waterfalls and creating something really gentle.
yeah.
So that's
And
cool stuff.
and having your daughter to help you write the lyrics was just like one last thing for you to worry about and for you to focus on the composition of the music itself.
Mm-hmm. It was a really wonderful thing to be able to give that job, if you will, to my daughter, because as I realized, and she reminded me, which is kind of funny. She was like, I've been studying progressive rock music since the day I was born. Because, literally on the way to like kindergarten, I had her tapping, odd meters to like Genesis, and she's been learning, 7/8 time and all these things. And, that combined with the fact that she really is very skilled with language, not only the English language, but she also speaks fluent Italian and fluent French and Spanish. And she's like, that's her world. So I gave her this, opportunity to do the lyrics, which she accepted and loved doing. And I think she did a great job. So it was one less thing for me to think about, right?
And it's in the house, so I think you trust enough your daughter to have that work. I mean, if you didn't think she was able to, you probably wouldn't give her the job.
Right. No, I knew she could do it. And she did a bit, I think she did a better job than me. I mean, I like writing lyrics too. And I've written some over the years on my solo albums, as people know, but it's not my main thing. I've also sung on different albums and I enjoy it. I enjoy to sing. I enjoy writing lyrics, but hey, you know what? There's Joe Payne and there's Ari who can write these beautiful lyrics with these amazing stories and stuff like that. So I love the fact that I could bring in these wonderful people to kind of be part of the team to make this happen.
Yeah, that's one of the things I appreciate about this record, because it actually seems to be a band effort in the sense that everybody has its own space to shine.
Yeah, no, what was really interesting to me is that one of the things I was concerned about is when I was writing the music, I also was writing the melody lines, right, for the singer. And I was nervous because I was just about to have to go into Dream Theater world, which is all encompassing, right? Once I do that, I'm like, I can't think about anything else. So I finished writing all the general melody guides for Joe, and I sent them out. And I was like, Joe, I'm getting really busy now. I want to have harmonies on the record. I can work with you on it to a point, but I'm about to be really busy. So what was great and contributed to the band dynamic of this is Joe would send me back stuff and I'd be like, oh my God, that's awesome. He'd literally send me back like some kind of like vocal arrangement of something, like when he sent back what he had done for Shadow of the Moon, which was the single that we just released with music video. That sound that he made vocally was just so glorious. I mean, I gave him some basic harmonies, whatever, but he came back and just did his thing. I mean, that's his world. He's a vocalist who's more than just a voice. He has a musical mind for it as well and can offer something that I wouldn't have offered. So in that sense, yeah, it's a band because it's more than just Jordan, musical brain. It's Jordan. He's got these other guys who are part of it. And I love that. I've been telling him that was and telling people that's one of the great things about working with him is that that's who he is. And it was good timing too, because otherwise it was getting really tight,
And how long did it take all this process from start to finish? When you already had some ideas on your iPhone, as you were saying, but when you start put pen to paper, so to say, and finish this, how long did it take to?
Yeah, it's amazing how these things can come together quickly once you're in them, because when you're not when you haven't started yet, it seems like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? My thought is, oh, I did this last time for the last album, but I have no idea how to do it this time again. To do all that music, all the arranging, it just seems incredibly overwhelming. Even to go back and learn where the key commands are on the computer to record, to do all the things, it's crazy. But once I walk into my studio door, I sit down, I go, okay, we got to do this. I got to do this. And then it comes together pretty quickly. The wheels start turning. You got a process going. And I'd say in a couple of months, I had things in pretty good shape where I could start sending things to the mixer, in this case, Jimmy T. who was the same engineer that we used to record our Dream Theater music. Although Jimmy T, in my case, mixed my album. The recording was done. I recorded all my keyboards at home. Darby did his drums. Steve did his guitars, and Joe did his voices. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't take more than a few months to pull the whole thing together. And then of course there's the mix and all the things that have to happen after. But yeah.
For you to be able to, to get in the frame of mind of, I need to get this done, I need to finish this. Do you have, how many hours did you put a day into that process?
Yeah, once I'm in it and I'm in the studio working on this, then I'm like in the studio almost every day. Like the phone is off, maybe take a little break to eat every now and then. But once the wheels start turning and I'm doing it, that's what I'm doing. And luckily, I look for these spaces in time to do these kind of things because it's not that easy because I'm really busy between, Dream Theater work and all my work in music technology and everything. So, I have to be very intense, and I want to be also because at that point, when I finally got my concept together, I've got the players in line, I have the way it's going to be released in mind, in this case through Inside Out. At that point, I'm like, okay, this is going to happen. Let's just plow through it and get it done.
Yeah. And you talked about you're very busy. One of the things that I like to watch on Instagram, normally it's you practicing like playing piano and guitar at the same time, like
right.
hand on the guitar. I mean, for me, it's hard enough to play one instrument, let alone two at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that a good like brain exercise for you for to get ideas and to keep a fresh mind musically as well?
Yeah. Well, there's two things that basically you brought up in that question. One of which is the particular kind of mindset or skill it takes to play one or two instruments at the same time. For me, I'm a progressive rock musician. A big part of me is a progressive rock musician. And in our progressive rock community, we like to tease each other, the musicians. Like, why do we do this? Why, like, we could be playing in 4/4 time. What's wrong with us that we're making it hard? So, it's a reality that we like to challenge ourselves because, it feels like there's some growth, that the brain is working, that there's some kind of good feeling that happens when you try to figure something out and have success, or when you're calculating an odd meter, like a cool Jordan or Dream Theater rhythm, and all of a sudden you can start tapping. They go, oh, that's what it is. It's like a 7. And then you go, oh, and some of us can really appreciate the feeling of tapping into that kind of next level of brain activity. So for me, first of all, to learn the guitar, I love that. To me, that's like doing a puzzle, or it's like somebody reading a complicated book, or it's like, for me, that's one of the things I do to keep myself sharp, is learning this new interface and trying to understand where the notes are, putting it together. The next level of that is, okay, I can now do that, like that language there, but what about playing the keyboard at the same time? And I'll sit on the things you see on Instagram are the result of practice. It's not like I walk over there and it's like, okay, da-da-da-da-da-da. No, not at all. I have to go, okay, this is the pattern I want on the guitar. Okay, I got that. Play that. And now, first of all, what's the harmony going to be? What am I going to do on the keyboard? I figure it out, and then I put my hand on it. Now, I've been playing the keyboard for 60 years. So once I get that down, I'm kind of like pretty much good, right? The guitar, you'll see that I'm kind of looking at that a little bit more than I'm looking down at the keyboard, because that one, so I got to hold it together, right? But what I'm looking for and all that is this kind of like headspace where what really makes these things work is when I'm able to like let go and just allow it to happen, however you get there. So it's a matter of just doing a lot of practicing playing the riff, being comfortable with it, to where you can kind of breathe and do it at the same time. So I'm looking to get to this place of mind and body where I'm almost like relaxed doing this crazy thing. That's the whole game of that. As far as the second part of your question, the musical inspiration, I mean, as long as there's some some clarity and there's not a lot of interruptions in my thinking process, I can speak the language of music, right? My emotions, my thoughts can come through easily, maybe even more easily than the words I'm trying to get out of my mouth. But for me to go over now and play something for you on the piano, that would be a smoother flow than my trying to find the words to describe what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So that's not an issue. The only time there's a break in that, if maybe there's something going on in life that's very like demanding and taking up my attention to where I'm not allowing the musical ideas to just kind of like flow through me and through my hands. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And one of the things about you is you embrace technology for a long, long time. You have GeoShred. You love to do the videos with the Videolip app as well. Because AI, it's something that people are talking about a lot these days, but it's been present if you're a musician for a while now. If we talk about digital plugins, for instance, they're basically AI in a sense that they are emulating an amp or whatever processor or thing that used to exist physically. How do you see AI in the future? Do you think there is a lot that we can learn, use it to be creative as well? Because people seem to be terrified, and I think it's a cool thing if we can get a robot to clean my house.
Yeah, that'd be nice, right? Yeah. Well, that's a great question, and it's a whole interview on its own, really. But to try to put it in some kind of more brief, concept, I think that, as you kind of mentioned, that the AI is almost like it's like a next level tool. We've had computers, we've had all these plugins, we've had drum machines, we've had all these things that kind of can do things that were never possible before using technology. Well, the AI just gives it's the next level of intelligence for these computers and for what we can use as musical tools. And AI can come into so many different facets of what we're doing. And I this is funny to me because I am an ambassador for a company called Moises AI, and Moises is this tool. You probably heard of them because everybody has at this point. Do you know who they are, by the way? Moises.
Yeah.
MOIS. Yeah, that's an amazing tool that the foundation of it is that it does track separation. So you can upload a stereo audio file and then you upload it to the Moises system and it can come back to you divided in different ways, like having the independent tracks. It's not just magic, although it is magic, it's AI. But so many musicians, thousands upon thousands of musicians are using that now. They don't know how it works. They don't care how it works. All they know is, wow, I want to learn this John Petrucci solo. I'm going to upload it to Moises, and then I'm going to solo out the guitar. Well, hello, that's AI. That is the reason that you can do that. Yeah. Probably the same guy who's doing that is complaining about AI on one of the internet forums or AI visuals or anything like that. They just don't know what's going on. So while I get the whole thing about copyrights and all that and all the concerns that people have, and also I understand the idea of, the fear of allowing technology to take away the emotional aspect of music for human beings, I get it all. I think a lot of that is coming from a place of not really understanding the bigger picture of what technology can bring to the audience as far as entertainment value goes, as far as an experience, both musical, visual, because these are my specialties, but also as an educational tool. What do we actually learn by having these amazing tools that are doing things that were not ever possible before? There's an amazing educational opportunity there for just like Moises is giving you this incredible ability to, learn music by doing what it's doing, there's also this amazing possibility of being able to learn interesting scales and ways to work with modes and rhythms. And, we're going to see all these things kind of rolling out as we go. The final thing I'll say about that is that I've been doing a residency at MIT, the Media Labs, over the last many months. And in September, I'm doing what we're calling a work in progress event concert, which will be showing some of the work that I'm doing with AI and music and visuals. My work is very much involved with how the performer can interact with an AI system and actually allow the AI system to not only generate ideas on its own, but also predict and react. Meaning that if I play, it's almost like having another Jordan over there, right? So I'm jamming with the AI. And if I play this chord and then I go to a different chord, the AI goes, oh, he went from a C chord to an A flat major. So I'm going to adjust the notes and I'm now going to offer something that fits into that key. And how does it even know how to do that? It knows how to do that because I'm the one in this case who provided the data to teach it what to do, to how to react to that chord. And so when it reacts and plays what it plays, I kind of can go, wow, interesting, so that's really cool. So I'm learning from even the AI system that I helped to create.
Yeah.
It's very interesting stuff. Yeah. To me, it makes all the possibilities for fun and entertainment and education higher, and more powerful.
Yeah. As you were saying, I think people are just, even though it's acceptable and understandable, they're worried about when it comes to copyrights, but it's such a bigger picture, such a bigger learning opportunity that we have, that we shouldn't shy away from it. It's being able, and even people without like many skills sometimes could be something that will help them probably develop skills if they are given an opportunity.
They will, and they'll be using it, and they won't know what it is. They won't know if it's AI. It'll be released by Korg and Yamaha and Roland, and it'll be this little, patch you go to when you play a scale, and all of a sudden it does something else, and you're like, oh, I love that. That's great. And you just like, you can use an arpeggiator now, or Karma in the chord world, or all these technologies that allow cool things to happen. I think that's what it is. But yeah, again, with respect to, all the musicians who are concerned and have, fear about it, technology is scary. It always has been at every level of it, because it just is, changes the way people have to think and adjust and have their careers. And I get that. But I want to be one of the people that actually helps to steer the technology in a place that's really beautiful and helps the music community. So visuals and all the things that I do.
And, going back to music, you toured earlier this year with the Dixie Dregs, which you had a past as well, because in 1994, you were given a chance, I think was on the same month, to join Dream Theater and Dixie Dregs.
That's the story,
You had a newborn daughter, so you decided to do shows with Dregs. How was the to go back with the Dregs on the road?
Well, yeah. You really did your home. You really know my history here. You're good at this. I figure every 30 years I'll do another Dregs gig, right? So, hey, let's see. I'll be 97 in 30 years, and I'll be ready. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, it was great, really great. Such a nice thing. There's such great guys and great musicians, and I appreciated all the gigs. And it was a little tough to get ready for it because I was literally in the studio writing the Dream Theater album while I was preparing to go out with the Dregs. And, I didn't really remember too many of the songs from 30 years ago. So I had to revisit them and reprogram them. And so in the mornings, I would be in the one of the rooms at Dream Theater headquarters. What am I doing? I'm learning drag songs and programming them. So it was like a little crazy, but in the bigger picture, it was a lot of fun. It was quick, but it was enjoyable.
Cool. And, to wrap it up, I know Dream Theater, we're going to do a 40th anniversary tour. We cannot talk about the album yet or anything like that, but from anything that you can say about the songwriting process,
Yeah.
fans be happy with what they're going to hear.
Yeah, right, right. Well, what I've been saying, which is really important to realize, is that, although Dream Theater, we were absolutely fine for 13 years while Mike Portnoy was on hiatus or whatever. Having him come back has been really wonderful because this is his home, right? He helped to create what people know as Dream Theater, and to get back to some of that core kind of like those core values, if you will, of what the music and albums should be like with Mike here with us has been really great. And I think that people are going to feel it from everything from his drumming style to the kind of contributions that he makes to the way the songs are put together, to what I like to say is kind of like his film director mentality, where he's thinking about, that melody, we could use that melody in that song, and then we can connect this and that, all these interesting connections that, like, I have a lot of capability to write music. John Petrucci is a great producer, a great writer. Everybody's got their specialty, but Mike brings in his specialty, which is different than everybody else's, which becomes part of the Dream Theater experience, and there's no denying it. And people are gonna love this because it's all over this album, that touch that he has, and just really excited about it. Every level of it, from what we're going to release on the album to what we're bringing to the tour, and the kind of show we're putting together, and the set list that he basically wrote.
Yeah,
a lot of good things to say about it. And besides, it's very emotional, for me, for us to have him back, because he's always been a good friend, and I think this is where he belongs.
Yeah, and there's going to be a novel as well, Scenes from a Memory, that's coming out soon. We'll talk some other time. I'm going to be in Berlin for the Dream Theater show.
Oh, cool, man.
And then I'll see you in Lisbon as well, obviously. I was going to go to London, but then I realized everybody's going to London for that show. So
Yeah.
let's go to the one next. And I chose Berlin to go anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. And maybe we can talk again then, just about Dream Theater and all that. So
I'd love that. That'd be great.
Jordan,
great.
thank you very much for your time. All the best for Permission to Fly. You have permission to fly high. This is a great record. And, when it comes to Joe Payne, just tell him that he did an amazing job on this record.
I will pass that along. I will definitely pass it along. He's amazing.
Listening to him on this record was, as I said, it reminded me of Yes. I think a lot to do with his voice and the soul he puts into those lyrics. It's great record. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in Berlin. All right.
Fantastic. And listen, thank you so much for your support and your time as well. I appreciate the energy. And yes, you have my permission to fly as well. And we'll see you soon for the next flight.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, Jordan. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.